Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Get Down to Business. Let's Get Down to Business is a collaboration between the Chamber of Industry and Commerce and IKTV. On this edition, we are bringing a profile of Mr. Robert Allan Smith, baker, successful businessman. You'll meet Mr. Smith when we come back from the break.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Keep calm. We're online now. Thousands of local content for your viewing pleasure. Live. Boom. IKTV. Tune in. Get interactive. Get involved with WhatsApp or Instagram. Interact live. Party from home. Subscribe, follow, send us your voice notes. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, or call us live in studio. Be where the world is going. Stay home and connect online. Boom 1069, IKTV. Join the evolution. It's all about you. Connect now.
Welcome back. You're looking at Let's Get Down to Business, the profile edition. I promised you, and here he is, Robert Allan Smith of Allan's Bakery. Allan, welcome. Pleasure to have you here. Pleasure to be chatting with you. And we're going to find out a bit about your journey, your business journey.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure to be here.
And I must say, you look very well for the years that you have on. I'm not going to give away your age unless you want to do that.
It doesn't matter. I love being the age I am, and I tell it to anybody. I'm 87 right now. I'm happy to live to that many years. So I can tell anyone.
You've done very well.
Thanks.
Allan, let's talk about your early time here in St. Vincent. You grew up with your mother, and I think your mother had a big influence on what you eventually became, which is the baker we know today. So tell me, what was growing up like in St. Vincent?
Well, I was born in Rose Place, and I grew up with friends like Kenneth John and Sonny Daisley, and we had a good boyhood days.
Right.
We enjoyed it.
So the kind of things that you got up to, swimming, and what was your recreation?
Mess around with weights and swimming. We got to the sea just about every morning.
Yes.
And spent at least an hour there. Enjoy doing that, doing exercise on the beach with a couple other guys. The three of us got together every morning around 6:30, and we exercised for almost an hour. And then we went into the sea afterwards. We did hand balancing, push-ups, lots of push-ups.
Yeah, you guys were physically fit.
I think that's one thing that has helped me tremendously over the years.
I believe so too.
Yeah.
Your mother, I believe, was quite handy in the kitchen.
Right.
And I think she is the one who brought you into that world. Tell me a bit about the kitchen, your mother, and Allan, starting out there.
My mother was from Georgetown, and she cooked a lot, and she was very a loving and giving person. Mm-hmm. If you come to our house any day that lunch was ready or dinner, whatever, you're sure you can get a plate.
What was your mother's name?
Ina. And her married name was Smith.
So Ina Smith.
Ina Smith. And she had, seven boys. Two died. The two last were 8 boys.
Right.
2 died when they were babies. The 2 last babies and 1 girl.
Okay.
So we had a big household, big family. but we enjoyed it.
And your mother used to have to cook for everybody.
Yeah, she loved to cook. And I was able to, I was always alongside her.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot from her.
So tell me some of the things that your mother used to cook and what you used to help her with.
She used to love to cook pilau, macaroni pie,
Right.
and some salads like breadfruit salad and things like that. Starch cakes also she used to make. And then she got involved in ice cream,
Right.
guava cheese, guava jelly, and coconut fudges. Those were all her favorite she made, and sugar cakes. She did that all the time. That had to bring in the extra money in order for us to go to school and so on. Because at one time you had 4 of us clash in the grammar school.
Right.
My sister at the high school, Irma, and Lyle, John, and myself. We all caught up. So you can imagine.
Yeah, the school fees. in
That's
those
right.
days,
Every
yeah.
term, £2 too. Never forgot that
Yes.
thing nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was pounds, shillings, and pence in those days.
That's right.
So what about you in the kitchen? When did you start?
Well, at the age, very young age, 11, 12 around there, if I can remember, I used to help her make the fudges particularly.
Right.
You had to churn the ice cream and so on. Did a lot of that. And my mother, for some reason, was very handy in doing a lot of things. She even sold, apart from ice cream and fudges and so on, she even sold provisions because she had family
Right.
in the country who had like Tanya's Dachshunds and things like that. And she even raised 1 or 2 pigs. And 1 or 2, we used to call them clean-neck fowls in those days.
Right.
Yeah, so she did quite a bit.
I don't
quite
see those anymore. I remember the clean neck fowls.
Yes.
I don't see them
You
anymore.
don't see them anymore?
No, but I
No.
remember that type of fowl.
Yeah, they were the bigger ones.
And what about the baking part?
Well, the baking part, on a weekend, we had to have homemade bread. There's no such a thing as buying bread from the bakery.
Right.
You had to have that. And I helped. After a while, I took over making the bread. And we'd send it to the bakery
Right.
on a Saturday afternoon.
Yes.
Get it baked. So we now have homemade bread for Sunday and Monday.
So you didn't really have an oven. You baked, you prepared the dough,
Right?
and you sent it to somebody else's bakery to
We
get
put it
baked.
on sheets already
Right.
made up. And then they bake it.
Well, who are you baking for? Just the family?
Just the family. And friends. They have a few friends that my mom had from Georgetown and so on that she would give sweet bread to, which is a coconut bread, and the white bread.
So, Alan, did you know at that time that you were going to end up as the great baker that you are?
Never thought, never dreamt of that. Never.
That was not.
Yeah.
That was not in your mind at that time.
Not at all.
It was just survival.
That's it. Yes.
So you went to school here. You went to the grammar school.
Yeah. First, we went to the Anglican school, which is
Right.
they had it there.
Right.
And then at the age of 13, I went to the grammar school.
Right.
I spent 4 years, but having little problems, being sick and so on. I wasn't able to move as fast as I should have.
Right.
And I just decided, well, I was going to get out. But what I was going to do in life wasn't planned. I just know that I used to say to myself, you're going to make money. You're going to be thrifty and,
Right.
and be able to save and,
Right.
invest and so on. And it's fortunate that it turned out to be that way.
Right. So you at your teenage years
Yes.
had it in your mind that Alan is going to be a successful
Exactly.
businessman. He's going
That's
to,
right.
You're going to make money. You're going to be cautious with it. You're going to do the right things.
Exactly.
So, grammar school finished for you. And what was your journey after? I believe you went to New York.
Yeah, I knew that my aunts, I had some great aunts, and they were bringing the family in one at a time. And my brother Lyle was the oldest guy, so he came first. They got him in. Then my brother John came next, and they got him in. So I thought as I left grammar school, I'm the next one in line. So they'd be, getting me into the States. But it just happened so that it took 4 years.
4 years. 4 years.
Before.
Why it took so long to get
Because there was an act called the McCarran Act
Right.
that the city is a quota system for the Windward Islands.
Okay.
And it was, I think, 100 persons per year. And my turn took 4 years.
So
That's
that,
what I
that
was
was
told.
that was a bit unlucky for you because before it just took months.
Yeah, months. My
Yeah.
brother went within about 6 months.
Right.
Both of them, John and Lyle.
So what did you do for the 4 years while you were waiting to go to the States?
Well, my father came to me and said, And I have a friend, Congo Bonady. Do you want to do tailoring with him? That was the furthest thing from my mind. And I said, okay, I go there, but I figured I was going there just to waste the time for maybe months.
Right.
I got there and then I learned how to cut a pants
Yes.
and stitch it up and so on. I could also stitch up a shirt. And I did that for about 3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
That's how you made a living?
Well, no, my family had to support me. I got a few cents at the end of the week.
Right.
Pocket change, you call it.
Pocket change.
And that was it. But I decided that was time to move.
Yeah.
So my sister had her sewing machine.
Right.
So I asked her if I can come and make a jeans once in a while, and if anybody else wanted to have me make a pants for them.
Right.
And that's what I did. I made one jeans because I didn't have the money to buy any more material. One jeans at a time, hang it up in one of the grocery stores in Middle Street.
Right.
And in no time it would be sold. But here it comes again. I got to wait and take that money to buy one more, so I couldn't really produce much stuff that way.
But you had demand.
But it did work good for me.
People were demanding your clothes.
Exactly.
Your jeans at least.
Exactly.
So you started out a bit as a tailor.
Yes.
While you were waiting to get to the States.
States. Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, we're at the end of our first segment of this program. When we come back, we'll start talking about that North American experience that you had, which I know is the bulk of what made Allan Smith, Allan Smith.
Okay.
You're looking at Let's Get Down to Business. My guest is Robert Allan Smith of Allan's Bakery. More with him when we come back from the break.
To know that no matter where you are, you're covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Welcome back, folks. You're looking at Let's Get Down to Business, a collaboration between the Chamber of Industry and Commerce and IKTV. This episode, we have the Business Profile Edition, and my guest on this is Mr. Allan Smith of Allan's Bakery. Allan, we're talking about getting to New York.
Right.
You're leaving St. Vincent. This is your first time traveling?
First time travel.
How did you get there?
In those days, you had to go to Trinidad. So I took a boat from here, got to Trinidad, and spent a couple of weeks there getting my
Your papers, your documents?
Yeah, to go to New York.
And then you flew on Pan American Airlines, I believe.
Pan American Airlines.
The famous Pan Am in those days.
That's right. That's right. They were #1 then.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was your impression
Oh,
of the flight, the journey?
Cane Express. When you see, for example, passing over Puerto Rico, the beautiful lights and everything looks so exciting. I couldn't imagine that life was really like that. But it was
like
great.
Like a fairy tale, eh?
Exactly.
So I guess you were all excited. What age are we talking about here? How old were you then?
I was 22 then, 1956. I was 22 years old. And I was just happy to get to New York because I had my 2 brothers there and all my great aunts that we corresponded over the years and so on with. So it was exciting, very exciting for me.
Did you know what you were going to do when you got to New York?
I didn't have the slightest idea of what I'm going to wind up doing, none. I just know that in those days they said America was paved with gold, so you try and get up there and get some of that gold, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Yes.
You eventually landed in New York, and what was the...
I got to New York
Yeah.
on the 27th day of March, 1956. And I got a job the next week,
Wow.
which was great. I didn't care what kind of job it was. I was
Right.
out there to work and just move on.
Out of interest, what was that job?
At that time, it wasn't hard.
Yeah.
But you get a job easily.
What was the job? What was the job that
Oh, I
you got?
worked at Brooklyn Hospital. As a matter of fact, my two brothers before they went into the armed forces,
Yes.
they both worked there for a little while because there was a connection between my aunt and a judge. So we were able to get a job there right away. Not a
okay.
great professional job or anything,
Right,
but
right,
at
right,
least
right.
I worked in the cafeteria,
Right.
which I was happy just to get the job.
So that paid the way for a little bit.
Yeah,
Yes.
they didn't pay much in those days. You get almost minimum wage
Yeah.
in those days.
But you were actively engaged. How long you did that for?
I did that for about a year. And then I moved on to another job. That was in Maspeth, Flushing, New York.
Right.
And I work at that factory. We did what you call piecework,
Okay.
which means you get paid for every piece you produce. And I did that for about 4.5 years.
And all this
in the-
time you're learning New York, you're getting around, you're
Right.
learning the bus system,
That's
the
right.
underground. you
And
know.
while I was at Wellbuilt, the company is called Wellbuilt, I get home on a Friday, I'd buy a bag of flour, 100 pounds of flour,
Okay.
shoot home, change my clothes, jump into the kitchen, and make that bread all night. We had what you call the Vincentian Cricket Club at that time. They used to have meetings every Saturday in Milton Timms. Is Milton Timms his name? Yeah, basement.
Right.
So every Saturday, I went there with my box, with
Yes.
my bread and so on. And I remember one guy saying to me, he went to grammar school and selling bread from a box. I just laughed.
Yeah.
I never had any hang-ups or any problems doing what I had to do.
Yes.
Never bothered
So,
me.
so the
I was
idea-
happy doing it. I love it. Once you enjoy your work,
Yeah.
hey, that's the key.
The idea of you going to grammar school and coming up to New York to sell bread
Right.
from a box,
A box.
they found it something to ridicule.
Exactly,
That
exactly.
it was supposedly below
Yes.
the status of a
Standard
grammar
or
school
whatever.
boy.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
you really started baking while you were doing that other
That
job?
other job. I work 5 days from Monday to Friday, and then Friday night is when I jump into my kitchen and start producing the loaves, white bread. I
Right.
only made in those days a white bread and a coconut bread.
And who are your customers?
Beg one?
Who are your customers?
My customers from all over. When I check them out, because one person would tell the other, and so on and so on. And I had a lot of Panamanians, for example, and Jamaicans, Trinidadians are big customers because they love currant roll.
Right, but talking about your customers then, when you started baking just the white bread and the coconut
Yeah,
bread.
I go to the homes.
Right, okay.
Once one guy would say to me, hey, go with my cousin over there, or go with my friend there, and so
Right,
on.
right.
So word of mouth just took it all around. So I'm driving on a Saturday all around Brooklyn to these different homes in order to sell them the
Selling
bread.
bread, right. And you were doing this, where were you living then? Saratoga?
I was
think?
living at Saratoga Avenue then. Yes.
So that's where
No,
Allan-
sorry.
yeah.
Prior to that, that's when I opened the bakery in Saratoga. Prior to that, I was doing it from my house where I was living. I was living on Macon Street.
Right. So that's when you were doing your deliveries.
That's when I was doing my deliveries.
And also doing a daytime job.
Exactly.
When did you actually decide to kick that daytime job and do baking full time?
After I saw business was picking up, I decided to rent a little shop, which is in the East New York part of Brooklyn. And it was another family member who knew this person. They were related, but not to me, but to them. And he had just bought his house. And he told me I can get the store to rent. And I can also get the apartment because it was empty. It needed fixing up.
Right.
So I went to help him fixing up and so on. And then I moved into the apartment upstairs.
Right.
And I opened the store downstairs and opened 2 days a week. Start making my stuff just for the weekend.
Oh, so you started just selling on the weekend. And you were living upstairs, but you're doing this full time. You didn't have another job.
I left the job by then.
And so this was your full-time
First
income.
full time, exactly.
Did it start
And
to
that
feel
was-
promising then, Allan?
Right, beg one?
Did it start to feel as if
Yeah,
You're
things
making
started
a
looking good.
connection,
Everybody,
yeah?
it's a funny thing that happened. Everybody was just encouraging me. All my customers, open a place. Your stuff is good. You know, you don't have to worry. So I had that confidence that I can open up a place and I can pick up enough sales to cover whatever rent and everything that had to be paid.
So,
So
that was Saratoga
That was
Avenue.
Saratoga Avenue.
Right. So you're retailing 2 days a week, and then you
And
increased.
still going out and delivering, selling from the shop,
Right, right,
and
right.
still delivering on a Saturday out there.
Right.
When it got busy enough at the store, I tell all my customers, hey, no more deliveries. You can buy at the store in Saratoga Avenue. And it picked up right away. Everybody that I knew came to the store and got this stuff. So it
Were
was
you,
good.
importantly, were you reinvesting the money that you made
Every-
back into the business?
Every extra penny I had, I buy a pan, a pot, an oven, whatever it could buy. I make sure I keep putting back all the time. I didn't try to save anything.
Yeah, but you're putting back, you're building the
Everything.
capacity of the business.
Exactly.
Until you got up to like, you started out with just 2 products, as you said, when you were at the other place.
Right.
Now you're at Saratoga and you have this retail space. What were your products then?
Well, I start making, for example, like apple turnovers and little hot dog rolls and so on. Because then I start going back to the factory. I had a little station wagon, and I start going back to the factory where I worked because knowing a lot of people there and so on. And I sold in the morning for 10 o'clock break, coffee, apple turnover, and hot dog. So I made that run during the week because as I said before,
Right.
I opened only on 2 days. So the rest of the week I was going down Monday to Thursday. I was going to Flushing Avenue and sell the coffee. I had a big coffee container and the apple turnovers and the sweet stuff and so on.
Right.
And when it got busy enough that I thought in Saratoga Avenue, then I dropped that. I concentrate on opening up days after to get to the 6 days.
Right.
And I concentrate on my products at Saratoga
So
Avenue.
you started concentrating on the retail side.
Exactly.
Basically, the customers coming to you as opposed to you
Going
you
to them.
delivering.
Yeah,
And that started to grow. Started to feel sweet.
right. And then my landlord decided that I'm doing too well, so he should raise my rent. So he doubled my rent. So I said to myself, well, what I got to do now is to try to save a few dollars because I had no money. I don't have a track record that I can go to the bank and get a loan.
Yeah.
So I say, you know what, let me start trying to put away some money. So I managed to save in a short period about between $3,000 and $4,000.
Right.
My sister, who was a nurse, I got her to go partnership with me because we needed like 50% down payment in order to get the house.
To get another
It
place,
was
right? Yes.
2 apartments and a store.
Right.
And this was in the Flatbush area.
Okay.
So I got that money up, she got her money up, and we had Carver Bank in New York finance the other 50%
Other
of
50%,
of the
yes,
thing.
yes.
And she had 1 apartment upstairs, 2 apartments in the store. I had 1, she had 1, and I had the store downstairs.
And you had the stores. And
that's
this
it.
would be the Nostrand Avenue.
Right, that's where
Allan's
things really
Bakery.
took off.
And we're going to talk about that when we come back from the second break.
Okay, very good.
You're looking at Let's Get Down to Business. My guest is Mr. Allan Smith. More with him when we come back.
Keep calm. We're online now. Thousands of local content for your viewing pleasure. Live. Boom. IKTV. Tune in. Get interactive. Get involved with WhatsApp or Instagram. Interact live. Party from home. Subscribe, follow, send us your voice notes. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, or call us live in studio. Be where the world is going. Stay home and connect online. Boom 1069, IKTV. Join the evolution. It's all about you. Connect now.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
This is Let's Get Down to Business. You're looking at the Profile Edition, and on this program is Mr. Allan Smith, Robert Allan Smith of Allan's Bakery. Allan, Saratoga Avenue now becomes Nostran Avenue.
Right.
You moved out. Your landlord has put up the rent on you. Doing you a favor, really, which you would find out, which you would find out later on, because had you stayed there, maybe things would not have turned out the way they turned out.
True, true.
So you are in with your sister. You all have bought a building now, okay? And you are baking. And is it the first time now you're going to be known as Allan's Bakery?
Well, I always had the site Allan's Bakery.
Right.
Because I wanted to make it Allan's on the sign, Allan's Bakery Corporation.
Right.
But somebody else had that name.
Okay.
So we just put Allan's Bakery as the name out there, and the corporate name was 1109 Nostrand Avenue
Right.
Bakery.
So you registered a business now?
Yes, yes.
Who advised you to do that? To actually go
Well,
and
my
register?
accountants usually advise you. Have a good accountant.
Yeah.
And usually accountants, if you meet good ones, they'd help you along and try to get you to do what they thought was really necessary, important to keep your business and get it running. So,
you see, I want to stress, because, you know, the people who are listening to this program are listening to you to see how you made it through not being born with a gold spoon in your mouth, you know, and this is what we're all about here. And I want to get that message of registering your business and incorporating it and running it as a disciplined entity. I want to get that message across. So this is why I like to hear how you went about it, you know?
yeah, I took things where I was fortunate that I would call it I was strong enough. And I think I had the ability of always using simple figures
Right.
to determine, you know, certain things.
Right.
What cost and everything, which is very important.
So you had a computer in your head.
I was lucky in that part. And so that part was easy for me.
Yeah, but your
So
accountant
anytime I
kept-
make a product, I know well how much it costs me to produce and how much I sell it for, and that's it. So
Right.
that was a good thing.
So you're able to price your products properly,
Right.
and the margins that you made, you were able to take that and
Right.
put it back into restocking,
Exactly.
and then your accountant was there keeping you in
Abreast
line.
of whatever. Yep.
Right.
Yep. So that was good.
So Nostrand Avenue became the famous Allan's Bakery. Tell me about the early days of Nostrand Avenue.
Well, when I start telling folks who were buying from me that I'm moving to Nostrand Avenue, most of them said they live in that area. They were West Indians because that area was changing from white to black.
Okay.
Just around that time in the 60s.
Right.
So a lot of customers that I had came from that area. So I had no problem getting them all at once right back.
This is in the Flatbush area.
Yeah, in the Flatbush area, Nostrand Avenue, Flatbush area. And that was one good thing for me, that plus that I had. And I give you an example, not running too far, but there was a good friend of mine who was a seaman. And I had to close the place down for 2 weeks in order to put in a new oven, and he said to me, Allan, you should never do that. You're going to lose your customers. People are not going to come back when they go elsewhere. I said, well, I got to do it. I can't. I don't have any other choice.
Yeah.
You know, the 2 weeks when I opened up, he was the first one in the shop and said to me, Allan, you did a very good thing because people realize how tasty, how good your things are, that they couldn't wait to get back.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
That made me feel real great.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Exactly.
That's basically what that was.
So that kept my customers going.
What were your line of products? Because, you know, I'm interested. You started out baking just a pan loaf and a coconut bread.
Right.
Now, what's your range
What
now?
happened is there was a lady who was a nurse from Grenada. Never forget that. And she said to me, Allan, why don't you make this bread? I think she call it a dumb bread or something, but she meant the solid like the hard dough.
Hard dough.
So then after a while, I had a brother in Trinidad that was a baker, and I brought him into the States on a vacation, you know, so he could come and, because he has good ideas and he can produce the stuff. And he's the one that actually showed me how to produce that hard dough, and that became one of my best sellers.
If
the
not
hard
your
dough
best,
bread.
eh?
People like it solid and rich enough. If you just make a product and it's plain and it's like the next man, why waste your time online to come and, you know, for mine, it's got to be a notch better. So I always try to stay a notch above the other guy.
So it's what you call differentiating your product
Exactly.
from the other person.
Exactly.
So your hard dough bread was like your flagship. What was your other top
And the
seller?
other thing, top seller was currant rolls. And Trinidadians in particular love currant rolls. They're one nationality that I don't know what it is, but they love it. And when I started producing that, I couldn't keep up. So then I had to go into new machines. But I love machines.
Right.
Because they help you tremendously. And since my brother was there, well, no, he went back to Trinidad. His time expired.
Right.
And waiting for the council to call him.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I can't do all this work so with the guys I had, so I can leave current roll until he comes back. At that time, it wasn't as big as it is now. And then the guys started coming to me, why don't you make it? So I said, okay, experimented, and then I got it just right. And then I started making current roll there until it becomes so demanding that I couldn't keep up.
Couldn't keep up.
Couldn't keep up at all. So I decided I had to buy a machine that can do the automatic rolling and sheeting of that
So
dough.
you started to automate your business.
Exactly. And from there, I bought what you call a rondo sheeter and a rondo makeup table.
Right.
And then from there, I bought a silo system for my flour. And I bought a couple of the machines that help to produce the stuff, a little bread plant where you automatically throw your dough into the hopper.
Right.
And it divides it and make it up, and you take it out at the end. Any sandwich or any long loaf, you just take it and put it into the pan.
Yeah.
So that made things a lot easier. You're able to produce much faster and everything.
When you were buying these machines, did you now have to expand your space, your floor space?
I did.
So did you have to buy more of that building? Because
Yeah, I bought, as a matter of fact, I had the one building, and then I bought a second one right next to it on the right side of it.
Right.
And then years later, to accommodate the machines I'm talking about
Right.
now, I buy the building on the other side. So
Right.
now it becomes the first building in the middle and the two on either end.
So you virtually own the block? Well, one side
Well,
of the block.
one side, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
because having three buildings there, well, I had four as a matter of fact, and the total there is about 7 or 8 on that one block, which is Nostrand between Maple and Midwood Street.
Right. How many people are you employing all this time, Allan?
In America,
Well, at this time now, when you bought
No.
your machine, no.
bought the
In
machines,
America,
I had about
yeah.
23.
23 people. Would have any specific nationality or just anybody?
Just anybody.
Once
As long
they
as
could
you
work.
can do the work, that's it.
Once they could work. And
Once they can produce.
you're in a place where the Trinidadians, Grenadians, Vincentians, and so on. Who are your main customers?
Ooh. Well, because of control, you know, you had to have a large number of Trinidadians coming there. But we had all nationalities. People from Panama, because I started making the bun we call a Panamanian bun.
Right.
And that was mainly Panamanians who, they were really, most of them were Jamaican parents.
Right.
And they're accustomed to the bun. So they liked the bun that I make, and they were a big customer for me in that. And we had the other islands, Barbadians like the tennis balls, for example. Yeah.
What are tennis balls? What were tennis balls?
Tennis ball is a light sweet dough that you have to actually mill it to close the cells and becomes cotton like smooth. So it's a round ball and very smooth.
Yeah.
Very smooth.
Yes.
But Barbadians love that.
So you are now Allan's Bakery. You're on Nostrand Avenue. You're pulling in all these West Indians. I remember, well, later on in the late 80s, 90s, coming up and seeing your business and seeing the people lined up around your building, you
Right.
know, to get in to get your product.
That's true.
That was high demand, Allan.
Yeah, very high demand. And they'd wait until they get in there to get the stuff. But I always try to make sure that my production was in line with my customers. I always didn't have to tell someone come back later or do that.
Yes.
You know, that's why I love equipment, because the ovens were there. If I'm running out of current roll, I have made up in my freezer. Just take them out, 1 hour, they're baked.
Right. Well, Allan, when we come back from this break, we're going to be in our final segment. I want to just talk a little bit more about New York and then your move back home to St. Vincent.
Okay.
When we come back from the break.
Okay.
You're looking at Let's Get Down to Business. My guest is Allan Smith. When we come back from the break, we'll hear about Allan returning home and starting business, another Allan's Bakery, the St. Vincent version this time.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Welcome back. This is our final segment in this program, Let's Get Down to Business. We're profiling the baker, Allan Smith of Allan's Bakery. Allan, well, the time has flown here. You know, to chronicle your life in just under an hour is a very difficult task, you know. Yes. And basically, I found your whole journey into this baking so interesting. You now have an established business. You've got customers. Were you receiving other types of recognition?
Oh yeah, I got lots of awards for, in America in particular, a lot of awards for the contributions and the different things that I've done.
Right.
And been recognized quite a bit through
Did you make
Brooklyn.
it into any magazines? Did you make it into any magazines?
Oh yeah. One of the magazines which I was very happy about when I got in there, that was the New Yorker. As you know, the New Yorker
Big time.
is very famous for telling you places to go to buy good food and so on, top quality stuff. So I love that, I enjoy that.
So you got into the New Yorker as a place that the New Yorker magazine was recommended for people to go and buy a particular product or just your bread?
Just to buy everything, whatever I made. You know, the people used to come and I just used to laugh that I have heard. I'm not usually in the front of the store, but I've heard on occasion, just going the way people say, anything he makes is good, you don't have to worry, just buy it. And that's a great thing to hear.
So your name became synonymous with quality.
Yes.
Your name, Allan, was your brand.
Exactly.
Once Allan made it, it's got to be good.
It should be, yeah.
That's, I mean, a lot of people try to achieve that sort of status, you know, that get to that point. And it's amazing that you actually got to that and made it work.
Exactly.
What were your challenges, though? Was it all smooth sailing?
It wasn't all smooth sailing. It takes a lot of long hours. You tire a lot because you're human. You got, you need rest. But I can tell you one thing. I never went out on a Friday night in over 50 years. Don't care who invited me. Never went out on a Friday night. Why? My Saturday was so busy that I just had to make sure I'm in good shape for that Saturday. I'm not going to a party or a dance. And when I say go out, I mean going, partying and so on. Because I just need my energy and need to feel good. I need to look at my product, see that it bake and look nice, and I have to enjoy looking at it. I get angry when I see something not looking the way it should. Can't help it. It just bugs me.
Yeah, you're a quality man. You're delivering a quality product.
Yes.
So that's some discipline, Allan, because I'm sure being in a place like New York, lots of parties happening, especially on a weekend, Friday night, your friends are going out.
Right.
And you were just saying, nope.
No, not Friday. No, not Friday night.
What about your hours of work? What sort of times did Allan Smith have to get up?
Well, I
to
didn't
start
put
his
any
day?
special hours in. For example, if it's Easter time, I know I go in the bakery at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Because in order to produce what we need for that Easter week. Because when you have people like one guy, as a matter of fact, one year, a Jamaican, Levi, he bought 5,000 buns from me. Sorry, $5,000 worth. That's, I think in those days I sold a bun for 80 cents.
Right. So just over 5,000 buns.
Right,
Yeah.
5,000, yeah. He bought it because he had a bakery up in the Bronx and he wasn't able to bake then. He was just setting it up.
Right.
And he sold every one of them.
Everyone.
Every one, yep. He brought a truck in the week, like Thursday, the week, and pick them all up. That's it. But then I had the
This
ability
is the famous
to produce.
Jamaican bun?
Huh?
This is the famous Jamaican bun? Easter bun?
Yeah, the Easter bun, right.
Right.
And
Do
you
you
know
still-
Jamaicans love the Easter bun.
Yes.
They got to have that all week, you know. Not just Good Friday and Easter. They go right through from that beginning of the week, bun and cheese,
Bun and
right up to the
cheese.
weekend. Bun and cheese.
Bun and cheese. So you got Jamaicans hooked on that. Well,
And Panamanians.
you got the Panamanians hooked on your Jamaican bun. You got the Trinidadians on your current roll.
Exactly.
You got all the West Indians hooked on your hard dough. You know, and then you had the other products there to back it up. You were making patties, beef
Exactly.
patties, chicken patties.
And Easter time, I'd be making apple pies and pumpkin pies and potato pies. And that was a fairly good seller too for those days.
Allan, let me talk about your security. Because you're a target, I believe, at this stage. You know, I mean, we are in Brooklyn now. I'm not putting Brooklyn as a bad place, but I'm
Right.
just saying there are elements
Yes.
that are looking to get your money off you.
Exactly.
They're looking at you, customers lining up around your building. You're dealing in cash. You're carrying around a lot of cash. Did you ever feel threatened for your safety?
Well, not really until something happened. Which like I had a little incident at one time where someone came in and jumped over the counter and tried to get into their thing. And so little things like that make you become conscious.
Yeah.
But I always try to put in an alarm system and little electronics that you can put in place to protect yourself. But if you don't have physical guards like outside, you can't do it. So
Right.
what I did was I had a son-in-law that was a policeman in New York, and he lined up a few cops when they're off duty to work for me. So I had a policeman every day into my bakery after, I don't remember what year it started, but they were there from the time I opened in the morning until we close at night.
Yes.
We had an incident where before they were there, Steve went upstairs to get the change because we had the apartment.
This is
so-
Steve Prescott, who was
Steve
working
Prescott,
for
my
you. That's-
cousin.
Right.
And somebody, the door used to be left open
Yes.
for the bakers to come in early. And someone put a gun in him and make him take the change out the vault and so on. That happened once.
So he got held up.
He got held up.
Did you ever get a gun put at you?
I got held up once coming from the bank. And I never forget, I laughed every time I remember it. I had my gun under my jacket. And I took out, I had what, $500 in singles. So I took the singles out to go and get someone in the bakery, come out and get the change from the car because I double parked. Guy drove up behind me, pulled out his gun, and said, "Give me that bag." So I gave him the bag. He said, "Start trotting down the block." So my car's double parked, now I have to trot down the block.
Yeah.
And then I heard, pow! So I trotted. So I turned around because I'm not going to be shot in the back without trying to defend myself. I pulled my gun, and I never forget, this is a joke to me. There was a huge glass window, the
Right.
show window,
Yes.
facing Maple Street, right on the corner, and the guy was taking off around the corner. I drew my gun, and I shot at him, but I blew the doggone window right out.
You're lucky, eh? You're lucky,
Lucky.
that you didn't hit somebody else.
Yeah, well, nobody was in the street at that time.
Right, amazing.
Nobody was there. Yeah.
Amazing. Allan, that's bravery, though. You know, that's really,
Yes.
you make it sound so easy and simple. But that's.
Well, I think if you love people and people love you, because we have good and bad in this world, two kinds of people, good and bad.
Yeah.
And there's always people who would try to help you and protect you.
Yes.
You know, just like you would want to do for them.
Yes.
And I fall into that category where I was lucky enough to have enough people around me who really genuine and would do anything to help me. And I got a lot of help.
So
Tell
you would
anybody
put that as a main factor to your success.
Main factor, yeah. You
People
get
help
along
you.
there, and yeah, you stick around with people. You treat people right, they're going to treat you right.
But you're a
Makes
trusting
life
man
so much
too, Allan.
easier.
But you're a very trusting man. I mean, I'm sure you encountered people who you thought were there to help, but
Oh
were
yes,
there
and they're
not to help.
crooks. No question
Yeah.
about that. We all make mistakes, but I just move on. I don't make it bother me. Then I'd move on. As time go by, it just fades away. I forget it.
Yes.
But
I
I
remember
always
you.
try to do the right thing.
Yeah.
That's my motto. I always try to do the right thing.
I remember you always, when I came to New York and we were hanging out, I remember you always with your products in your vehicle, giving them away to.
Yeah.
So you were like your mother. Your mother used to give away when.
My mother, so I took after her. I couldn't ever see you come to our house at lunchtime and we eating food. I couldn't eat a plate of food, and right now I can't do it. I can't have a pot there with food, take out for myself, and you or whoever's sitting here don't offer you some. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
I must offer you some.
Yes, you're a very generous man. Allan, let's talk quickly in the last couple of minutes about your return to St. Vincent. What made you come back?
Oh, well, I met the PM after they won, Labour Party won, and he told me, he said, Allan, if you come back to St. Vincent because you're well known in Brooklyn, it might encourage other Vincentians to come home and do business. I hadn't planned on coming back
This
here
is
to
PM
do business.
Gonsalves you're talking about.
Gonsalves, yeah,
Right.
yeah, Honorable
Ralph
Minister.
Gonsalves, yes.
Yeah, and I'm happy that I did it. I love it. I love being here. I enjoy back being home, but it was not really in my plans for retirement. But I'm happy I did it. I enjoy it.
You
And
came
that's
back, you built Allan's Bakery, which is going up until today. It's now been going, I believe, for almost 20 years.
Almost 20, I think so. 19, yeah,
Yeah.
around there, sure.
How many people you employ?
I employ close to 50. I didn't count about 40, but 45 or so right now. But close to 50, I know. Yeah.
So you're kind of partly retired, partly
Yes.
keeping your business going.
Going. That's it.
And you still love what you do.
Yes. And I must say, with the COVID, which slowed down things for everybody, I am happy to say that everyone should get vaccinated. And I agree 100% with the PM.
Yes.
Everyone should. I said it weeks ago. A lot of my employees were disgruntled, unhappy. They didn't want to hear that because some of them don't want to take it. But if I leave, it has to be mandated and it has to be done in order for us to survive. I'm not going to let someone come in that's not vaccinated, and my little kid doesn't have a vaccination right now, and they come, to get it from them.
Yeah.
So I believe it's something that we have to stand together and see that it's done.
Yeah. I think you are right. I mean, I'm not one who necessarily wants to tell people you must do this and must do that, but you've got a business, you've got to protect
Exactly.
the lifeblood of your business.
Right.
But your business provides jobs.
Exactly.
Jobs provides income to people. This is what makes an economy work.
Exactly.
So I mean, I know we're not here to talk about vaccines, but I'm
I
glad
know.
that you brought it up.
Yes.
Finally, Allan,
Uh-huh.
what advice would you give to a young, upcoming person who has a business idea, has the passion that you did? What advice would you give them in terms of the character that they should?
I think as long as they have a plan, to put that plan in place and to stick with that plan, and to make sure that whatever they're going to do, they love it. If you're not going to enjoy it, there's no point getting involved. If you have a passion for what you're going to do, it has
It
to
helps.
turn out right. Sure.
It helps.
Sure.
But what about the business approach?
The business approach, if you can't get money to borrow, you just have to go along as you grow. Don't go out there partying and spending the money. You got to save your money if you want to buy stuff and so on. You get to a point eventually where things are going to work because you have things in place that need to be in place.
Right.
So I'm a firm believer in saving. And I had that philosophy from a very young age.
And you
Where I get
also
from
believe
anyone.
in putting money back into the business.
Yeah, exactly.
Not taking the
Not
first
just
set
taking
of
out-
money and going to buy a car.
Nah.
A
When you could
fancy
afford, I
suit.
waited until I could afford to buy I loved Jaguar for years. I didn't buy a Jaguar until I was sure. I felt, for me, what was comfortable, $2 saved. And here, I could afford to buy a Jaguar now. I wasn't going there and stretch myself on a limb, like they say, in order to buy this and can't pay, So life is how you plan it. You
Allan,
have to have plans.
you make all of this sound very simple, and I can see why at 87 you're sitting here in the studio. You look totally stress-free. You look like a man to me who can go for another 20 years easily.
I wish that.
You know, and not just go for another 20 years, continue to bake for another 20 years.
Yes,
But it's been a
yes.
real pleasure. It's been a real pleasure, Allan.
Pleasure talking to you,
You
too.
know, and I wish you all the best
Thanks
with
a
your
lot.
business here.
Uh-huh.
And I hope that the name Allan's Bakery lives
Yes.
on for many, many years.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
You've been looking at Let's Get Down to Business. My guest on this edition was Mr. Allan Smith of Allan's Bakery. Do keep watching Let's Get Down to Business when we feature another accomplished business person. Thank you.
Keep calm. We're online now. Thousands of local content for your viewing pleasure. Live. Boom. IKTV. Tune in. Get interactive. Get involved with WhatsApp or Instagram. Interact live. Party from home. Subscribe, follow, send us your voice notes. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, or call us live in studio. Be where the world is going. Stay home and connect online. Boom 1069, IKTV. Join the evolution. It's all about you. Connect now.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company,